So, there's a new task in the English curriculum, and it's called crafting texts. This is basically a creative piece where what you write has to connect meaningfully to your set of mentor texts. These could be a collection of short stories, an article, a speech, an entire novel, perhaps, and they will all surround a certain theme. Most likely, your theme will either be country, protest, or personal journeys, and this is the one we'll focus on. Personal journeys can mean a lot of things. What exactly does it mean to find yourself? Perhaps it's about facing fears, discovering what you're truly capable of. Maybe it has to do with understanding how your upbringing, background, and culture has shaped you, and how you are also different from what is expected within your culture. Your piece will probably have to use a pre-prepared title they've given you, as well as be inspired by at least one stimulus. Before writing your piece, the first rule, as always, should be write a thematic sentence down that your entire piece will be about, that is inspired by your mentor texts. For example, if you're doing personal journeys, you might be asked to read this short story about red plastic chairs by Amy Duong. And it's about the cultural identity of Vietnamese immigrants in Australia through the symbol of a red plastic chair. Amy clearly associates red chairs with memories of eating and talking together at family events and cultural ceremonies, something that began in Vietnam and now also exists in Australia. So, to build a thematic sentence, it could be about the need to stay connected to your cultural heritage, right? Because it makes you feel at home, like you have an identity, that you're part of a community, like you're somebody. But the idea also has a double edge, because Amy also recalls the language barrier she has between herself and her family, because she isn't fluent in Vietnamese. To represent this divide between her individuality and her heritage, she uses the symbol of the chair again, musing on how they sometimes feel out of place against the Australian decor. So yes, she recognises that the chairs can provide comfort as they remind her of her cultural identity, but at the same time, she does need to become her own person as a unique individual living in Australia. So the message isn't just cultural identity is good, it's more so about the importance of balancing cultural heritage with your own unique identity. Many pieces of art do this. For example, Shrek is fundamentally about beauty is not skin deep, or the importance of embracing our personal unique identity and challenging social norms. Mean Girls is about the shallowness of popularity, the extents that people will go to achieve popularity, and they will neglect who they truly are on the inside. If you don't have a sentence like this yet, don't write the piece. And also make sure the sentence has a bit of complexity to it. It's got a double edge to it. This brings me to the second rule: keep it simple, stupid, kiss. My teacher would say this to me whenever she saw that I was trying to impress her with big words, long sentences, and stories that resembled the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The reason why it's so important to have a thematic sentence is because it keeps the story focused on one thing. There's a brilliant video from this channel called Local Script Writer, where he talks about a short film that's seen as the golden standard of short scripts. It's a film about a man who struggles to record his voicemail greeting, and he slowly descends into madness. That's it. One room, one character, one goal, one obstacle, a $5 budget. Many people naturally think that writing a story is about a character travelling to various locations and beating quests. No, a story is about what's going on in your character's head. However that comes out could be as simple as them trying to impress at a job interview or clean their room. The Voicemail Man story is clearly about personal journeys, right? He believes there is a perfect way he can introduce himself, one that's both impressive and honest. However, until he accepts that this is an impossible challenge because he is endlessly complex and human, and that he simply just needs to face his fear with courage, knowing he might fail somehow, he will go insane. So, make your story about one idea and nothing else, preferably in one location. For the theme of the importance of balancing cultural heritage with your own personal identity, one of our students wrote about a week-long Bengali wedding she had to attend. At first, she really didn't want to go. She thought weddings were a big deal over nothing and just took away from her own life and things she liked doing. But as she helps set up the event, she begins to enjoy it. She meets relatives she hasn't seen in years. She starts to feel part of something special. This is a big deal because it changes how she feels about her culture, as well as herself, coming out of her shell. So the theme of the story is all about figuring out how to be true to where you come from, whilst also being yourself. And using the single event of a wedding can be perfect for this. And if you really want to impress, for rule 3, throw a piece of symbolism into your piece. This could be an object that holds a deeper meaning, an object that represents your theme. In the TV show Better Call Saul, Jimmy McGill, a usually untrustworthy protagonist, receives a world's second-best lawyer mug from Kim Wexler, the one person who believes in his potential to be better. The mug symbolises Kim's faith in him and the complexity of their relationship. So, when Jimmy goes behind her back and gets into trouble, the mug reappears, this time with a bullet hole through it. The once hopeful symbol now reflects the truth. Some people can't change. For Kim, it's a wake-up call to leave before the damage becomes irreparable. Going back to the reflective piece on the Bengali wedding, the entire piece could centre around the symbol of the sari dress and her character realising its elegance and that it's fun to wear, realising the beauty of her culture's traditions. The key is to spend a little bit more time in the planning phase, where you're understanding your mentor texts and you're writing different thematic statements down till you find the one that fits, till you find one where you can write a really simple story or anecdote or whatever it is you decide to write. That is the key. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and thank you.